Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to yet another market analysis live here this morning. It's Wednesday, February 8th. As we keep diving into this month, there has been some news that we should discuss from yesterday, right? That moved the markets in a very, very strong manner, right? There was a roller coaster effect based on what Powell had said in this economic press conference. So Powell, last time we saw him was last Wednesday when we looked at the FOMC meeting minutes and the rate hike, just 25 basis points this time around. And a week later, he comes on the wire yet again. Well, just shy of a week, whatever. Yesterday was Tuesday. So Jerome Powell moved the market really, really drastically in this. I guess it was like more of an interview realistically. So we had a pretty strong move to the downside and back to the upside based on what he had said, right? He repeated sentiments that were delivered as part of the FOMC's last policy announcement, noting that the economy had entered a disinflationary process, while the central bank chief added that the effort will take a good amount of time. So markets took to heart from the fact that he didn't take an aggressively hawkish turn following Friday's hotter than expected jobs numbers. And Powell also declined to say whether the FOMC would have raised more than 25 base point hike if they had known about the blowout jobs number in the last meeting. So we had an initial, I believe, spike it was in the market as he was talking about this disinflationary environment, but also taking into account that further rate hikes are appropriate, which pulled things lower. And we ended the session back towards the highs of that day. So a very strong roller coaster move yesterday, about 70 points whipsaw up and down. And today, we'll talk about the levels towards the end, but today we're in a very, very pivotal area, 4160 on the S&P 500 futures. So there's more Fed speakers that are going to come out this week naturally, but there's a few other things that we have to take a look at in terms of the overall economy. Now, the overall economy, right, one of the indicators that a lot of investors and traders look at, one of the barometers is going to be the global trade and supply chain. Now, one of the largest shipping companies actually reported earnings yesterday. AP Moller Maersk, which is ticker symbol AMKBY, and it's the world's biggest shipping company. So when it comes down to global trade and supply chains, we have to take a look at how these companies actually report, what these companies have in terms of forward guidance, so on and so forth. So the Danish firm controls about 1/6 of the world's container trade with offices across 130 countries. So that's more than 100,000 employees worldwide. So earnings before tax, depreciation and amortization, EBITDA fell 18% year over year to $6.54 billion, and coming in below consensus of the estimated $6.95 billion and lower than the $10.9 billion seen in the last quarter. So freight rates also fell by nearly a quarter compared to the previous 3 months, which is important to highlight when assessing the economic outlook. While things appear to be cooling fast, triggering fears about a recession when looking deeper into the details, like we had talked about, this one of those facts like retail and industrial. The economy appears to be readjusting from an overconsumption of goods to a sharp correction in demand after major pandemic-fueled bubbles. So, for example, AMKBY expects the global container market to grow between negative 2.5% and positive 0.5% in 2023, which is a significant slowdown, but it's far from a doomsday scenario, dark clouds on the horizon type scenario that it had predicted just a quarter ago. So slowly getting better. In fact, the shipping giant based its guidance for 2023 on the expectation that inventory correction will be complete by the end of the first half, leading to more balanced demand environment. So another common theme to many other industries is that they brought on a new CEO in December and is determined to speed up the business transformation and increase the operational excellence naturally. So we're going to see how all of these pivotal economic factors, right? If you deep dive into them, how they expect their portion of the economy to kind of transpire in the next half a year, quarter, which is going to give us more of an indication of what is to come, recessionary, non-recessionary, whatever the case is, melding in together with the Fed, because naturally the Fed policy, the monetary policy is going to shape a lot of this, right? A tightened policy is not necessarily going to spark new highs per se. So another thing to talk about, AI, right? Yesterday, I believe Microsoft integrated ChatGPT with Bing, right? So they've officially integrated it. I haven't checked it out honestly, but it's something to look at, right? Competing with Google, naturally, Microsoft topped a $2 trillion market value yesterday, as it said that it would integrate intelligence into Bing search engine and Edge browser. And I think this technology is going to reshape pretty much every software category, said CEO. Declared, I have not seen something like this since I would say 2007, 2008, when the cloud was just coming out. The new version of Bing is now available for desktop in limited preview, with wider rollout and mobile versions expected to come soon. So yesterday, the integration with ChatGPT popped Microsoft pretty well, I would say, right? It was a leader in terms of the tech names compared to some of its counterparts. I'm just going to check Microsoft right now. Yesterday had a pretty strong rally, and today it's gapping up pre-market, driven on a lot of that news, right? It still wants to continue some of this upside. Yesterday, it closed about 2.9% to the upside from its open. Right now, we are, let me see. Right now, we've gapped up about 1.7% on Microsoft, and it's still going, right? It's up pretty aggressively from the lows, and it's a name that you'd want to watch today. Obviously, a lot of big tech names are going to be names that you want to watch today. You want to watch Google as well in competition with this AI stuff, because you can see Google is gapped down aggressively in news that Microsoft kind of got that going. So we're going to see how these guys compete over this and this AI technology, which is going to be interesting in the coming years for sure. But Google right now gapping down on Microsoft's rally up. We're going to see how these guys shape up as the overall market is in a limbo at a key area. So let's talk about the overall market here. The overall market yesterday swung aggressively all ways around, right? We topped at about 41.88, I believe, and pulled back down a little into the end of the session. Right now, we're below the top of the distribution block, which finds us sitting at about 41.55, I believe. Very stagnant price action right now, 41.54 to be exact. So stagnant price action coming into the open here. Not too many traders are really jumping in at this, and we're back below the 4160 region, so that means we're back within the distribution block, which can see us technically lower, but it's going to be very pivotal to see how this 4160 reacts and how it trades into the early morning session here. So I'm going to be watching that level very, very carefully. I'm going to be also watching the 4175 to see if any sellers do come in at that area if we manage to see this upward movement. But theoretically, when we're in a distribution block, we're more likely to see a little more of that downside, which includes 4141, 4133, and potentially the bottom of the distribution, 4105 region, plus or minus 2 points. So keep that in mind. I have a slight little bearish lean today. We're going to see how that plays out. I don't want to be super aggressive if this thing just keeps ripping. I don't want to just be caught out in it, but there's a slight lean to the bearish side in today's market after we got over Powell and more Fed speakers are to come. So let's see how this day shapes up. I hope everyone has a great trading day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Thursday's update. And remember, check out community.tradeproacademy.com. Yesterday, we had a blockbuster day looking to fade a very strong move that we brought back down to 4105. So come check us out, community.tradeproacademy.com, or just the website, tradeproacademy.com. I hope to see you there, and we'll chat soon.